welcome to this week's edition of the Horror Debate. I'm Michael Mandy, and he is Rowdy Jeff.
Yes, I am, and this week we are reviewing Pet Sematary from 1989. Another Stephen King film. Did he get one right? A lot of people pan this guy's stuff when it comes to the screen.
Well,
the books are great. The film's not so much, Mike.
He wrote the screenplay to this one, though.
Oh, is that what made it good or bad here?
That's what made it much better than the average Stephen King.
You're right,
movie.
you're right. Okay, so what are we talking about here, Mike?
Well, we're talking, basic plot of this film is a family with a small child move up to Maine. Yes, of course.
Was it Bangor?
Probably. I mean, Stephen
Everything
King
comes out of Bangor. You know how much horror is in Bangor?
Yeah, thanks to Stephen King.
Thanks to Stephen King.
I mean, every story he writes has to take place in Maine, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, family with a small child, husband, wife, small child, moved to a small town in Maine with the busiest road. This Highway 101 is not busier than this little one-lane road that the biggest semis go barreling down.
I had a friend that lived on a road like that, man, and you know what? I would not let my kids anywhere near it. So these parents, the CPS needed to come out and visit these parents. Oh, man,
I tell you.
Okay, how many times did that kid get close to that road?
Yeah. Well, anyways, the plot of this film is they move in, and there seems to be this little pet cemetery down a path that leads straight to their house. Their daughter even says, "Hey, where's that path go to?" And the nice old neighbor, played by Fred Gwynn, Herman Munster.
That was Ric Flair, man. That wasn't no Herman Munster. Gee, did you see that guy? If anybody knows what Ric Flair looks like, look at this guy when he's like turned to the side and tell me that's not an aging, like 75-year-old Ric Flair, dude.
You know what I think is the funniest thing when I was watching this film? First off, Fred Gwynn was just awesome in this movie, but he's got this southern drawl accent, and I'm going, what the hell's that doing up in Maine?
Well, you know, that's a good question.
Well, you know, I buried my little dog right up on that hill there, and I mean, this is Maine. They should be, hey, I parked the car around the corner, eh? You know,
yeah. Well, get the plot out, Mike.
Like, Cliff Clavin here.
Get the plot out.
Anyway, so the cat gets run over by a truck, a semi, and nice Fred Gwynn, Judd Crandall says, you know, Lewis, I buried my pet dog up on that pet cemetery, but she's not ready to encounter death yet, so let's postpone it a bit.
Yes.
So he takes him to a new place.
So Naomi Judd Campbell. No, I'm kidding. That was a bad joke.
No.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Tasha Yar comes from straight from the Star Trek Next Generation.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, come on, Mike.
So, what did we think of this
film? Are you excited about this movie?
You know what? Actually, when I saw this in the movie theaters, and yes, I was very excited.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You know, I thought this was a very good adaptation of the book.
You know what? This movie was so good, in my opinion, that it didn't even need a book. It didn't need anything at all. I thought this story was absolutely solid. Yeah. I thought the acting was very well done. I mean, let me say this.
Okay.
I wasn't a big fan. Wait. I wasn't a big fan of the wife, okay?
Oh, no, I know.
You know, Fred Gwynn, I was waiting for him to, like, pick her up and body slam her or something.
Yeah, you know Tasha Yar has never been the best actor.
Well, it wasn't just the acting. Well, number one, she was dry, okay? The acting was very dry, okay? But just kind of the way she acted, I think her character was part of it. You know, how she had to be all proper all the time, you know? And everything the doctor did, who's out there making the money, working his butt off, right? Everything he did could never be right. You notice what I'm saying? I got frustrated with her.
And she had no job, and yet they needed a lady to come clean their house
I got frustrated with her, dude. Yeah, that was it, man. I remember being about 45 minutes into this movie going, if somebody don't kill her, I'm doing it my freaking self, okay?
My big question on this was because he says, honey, you take the kids back to Chicago to see your parents because your parents don't like me. And I'm thinking going, what parents would not want their daughter to marry a doctor?
Well, this guy was kind of a goofy doctor, right? I mean, he let his kid go running next to the busy street. I can't get over that, dude. How many times? Yep. How many times in this movie did that kid, and that, you know, he doesn't know any better.
How many times did you see a semi going 100 miles an hour down that road?
I would have had a fence put up immediately. He's a doctor. He's got money, right? He just bought this huge house.
That's right.
What is the deal with not putting a fence up or something? You know, protect your kid, right? Your cat already got hit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your cat already died, okay? Now your kid's out there running in the field, and you're going to turn your back to him while he chases the Frisbee? I mean, are you high?
Kite.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Something that flies. that little kids are going to chase, right? I mean, are you going to do that? You know, you're a doctor. You figure, oh well, you know, if he gets hit, I can stitch him up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on.
Okay, now this movie.
You sense my frustration?
Oh yes, very. Okay, I had
right.
a couple more. You know, believe it or not, I liked this film, the mood and the setting and everything. But come on, that kid, I mean, was in amazing condition for being splattered on the freeway.
That's the
by a
part I
semi
didn't like.
going 100 miles an hour. There would be nothing left.
He should have looked like a bunch of Legos that got knocked all over the floor, dude, and pieces, parts everywhere, man.
Yeah.
There were no stitch lines. There were no pieces, parts putting back together, right?
He
looked great.
He looked like he never got hit.
As soon as he came back, you know what the first thing out of my mouth was, Mike? Chucky.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. It looked like a Chucky doll was attacking him.
He looked just like Chucky. Yeah. The look on his face, you couldn't have got it closer if you tried. Yeah. Right? So, okay, yes, this movie's got good and bad. We got bad. We got the yin and yang going on, right? But
and he also learned in death. I just learned something. When you die, if you come back to life, you will know how to dial a telephone.
Yeah, right. That's right. That's right.
Because the kid called Dad from the neighbor's house.
That's right. So, look at, man. I mean, okay. You got to suspend believability, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
this movie you got to really
got to really turn off the brain and enjoy the visuals, enjoy the mood, enjoy the ambiance, because that's the part this movie really delivers in spades, is the ambiance of kind of this creepiness in this house kind of going on. It has nothing to do with the freaking house, but just, you know what I mean? And the cemetery portion, which looked a little phony.
Oh, no, you know what was creepy? When the sister with the spinal meningitis in the grid, was that the freakiest looking? And then when she came running up to the camera, you got to admit, you flinched. You went, oh, don't get near me.
I watched this on freaking 70 inches, dude.
Yeah,
I had to go back and watch it again. I was like, whoa, what the heck?
I bet you jumped behind that sofa when she came running towards you.
Dude. She was nasty. What a great makeup job.
That was a guy.
Was it really?
It was really a guy.
Holy smokes, dude. I mean, you couldn't tell.
No, it was just, no.
Well, number one, you couldn't tell what it was. It just looked like a twisted mess of human flesh.
Yeah.
You know, but, what a great job. Anyway, you know, I don't know how much that character added to the movie, but it certainly added to the creepiness.
That was it was a sidebar that added pages to the book that really had not much to do with the film. And what was with that weird painting of the midget with the big giant eyeballs?
You notice how we get midgets
crop
in these movies? Harken back to our Suspiria review, and I'll tell you about midgets, okay? But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
There was just this weird painting kept popping up, and it was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, but it's all part of the ambiance, you know, that this movie delivers. And I'm going to tell you, for being 1989, I don't remember a lot of quality horror coming out in 1989, if you want to know the honest truth, right? But I'll tell you what, you know, I missed this one, I guess, when it first came out. I think I saw it a couple years after it first came out. And I remember I'm sitting there going, wow, that was not bad. I was expecting like your standard kind of like, you know, made-for-TV kind of deal. You know what I mean? And this movie certainly was not that. And
I saw it in the theater. I drove all the way up to San Francisco to see it.
You're a freak.
I am.
Anyway, but okay, so our main complaints with this movie, I think, really are that you have to suspend believability. I mean, you have to literally think, okay, no freaking way that's going to happen. There's a lot of
lapses in judgment here.
There's no way that's going to freaking happen, number one. Number two, this doctor had to be the biggest idiot on the face of the planet, okay? Number three, his wife should have been hit by the semi twice, okay? Yeah. He should have backed up after he hit her and gone back over again to make sure the job was done, because I'll tell you, she annoyed me, dude.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, she annoyed me on Star Trek.
Oh, was she on Star Trek?
Yeah, she was Tasha Yar on The Next Generation.
Well, see, I'm not a Trekkie. I'm a Star Wars fan, man. You know, and I can hear
I tell you, when Next Generation came out, I stopped being a Star Trek fan.
Well, I can hear all our listeners right now going, yes, Star Wars, baby. Yeah. That's right. So, and I've always been in that camp. I watched a little bit of Star Trek when I was a real young lad, and I looked at it and said, man, this is not right. There's just something. Look at that dude's ears, man. I mean, you know, I couldn't get over it.
Now, the other thing is Stephen King probably had a hand in picking the music. Now, at this movie's final end scene, something is going to happen, and they go to black, and all of a sudden hearing the Ramones cranking out, it's just totally ruined the mood.
Anytime you hear the Ramones cranking anything, it ruins the mood.
Yeah.
The Ramones, just so you know that.
The Ramones they're a cool band and all, but not in a horror film. Now, what this should have done was have the horror music that they were using, and then, well, the credits started to roll, and then about 2 minutes into it, then pull up the Ramones singing, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I was going, oh, God, what a horrible song.
That would have been cool, man.
Yeah. But no, they came right out.
Okay, let me just say this.
Oh,
I got to say this, because now we're talking about, like, I got to go back a little bit. Suspending believability, okay? Did you see that freaking cat?
That's the reason why I don't have cats.
What? Did you see that cat, dude? I've got 2 cats. I got a black and a white one.
And you notice I never get near him?
I should have named him Salt and Pepper, but I didn't, right? Because everybody does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have Midnight and Blinks, because Blinks has 2 different colored eyes, which freaks me out already, right? I mean, but let me just say
Kind of like
this.
the werewolves in that chocolate movie.
Yeah. Well, did you see that cat when it was at its evilest, right? I mean, okay, let me just say this. The cat looks stupid, okay? the cat looks straight stupid.
With the yellow eyes?
Well, no. It had nothing to do with the eyes. It was the movement of when the cat was it was supposed to be when the cat was dead but brought back to life.
Okay.
Right? And he looked so mechanical and so stiff, and there were bulges in places that, trust me, folks, cats don't have bulges there.
It's because the thing got flattened by a semi. It's got bones where it's not supposed to have bones.
You could think that way. But if you think that way, then why didn't the kid have bulges where he wasn't supposed to?
The kid shouldn't have been intact.
The kid should have been in pieces, and so should the cat. But my point is, if the cat comes back and he's got bulges where cats typically don't have bulges, okay? And the kid comes back and he looks like Chucky with an attitude.
Oh, tell me, what about, okay, get this. Now, some guy says, I buried my dog Spot up there, and when he came back, the dog had the pissed off attitude, and he had rabies and was just nasty. Then he says, oh, yeah, one of my friends, his son came back from the war, and he buried, and that kid came back all mad, and we were part of the people that burned his house down because the kid was psycho. Gee, are you going to want to continue this trend?
Mike, you never finished the plot. We're like all the way at the end of this review, and you never told the folks that are listening, the poor folks, what had to be done to bring these folks back to life.
We did tell them you have to go beyond the cemetery to a special place.
Yeah, but what do they do? But what do they do?
2.5 minutes into
this? But what
this?
do they do?
Well, they have to bury him in the special place.
They bury him, and then what happens, right? They call like freaking Domino's Pizza, like, to verify your order, and they're back, right?
If you haven't figured out by now in this review that, gee, they come back.
Well, yeah, they do come back, but that's another movie. That's called Sometimes They Come Back, and we're going to get to that.
That was a bad movie, too.
Okay,
was that the one in the car?
I think so. I think
God.
I've seen part of it.
I
but
hated
anyway,
that one.
Okay, but the bottom line is that the guy has to go up to the top of the hill, past the cemetery. Like this old Indian kind of thing going on up there, right? And he's got to bury the dead body and then go home and sleep off a hangover. And then by the time he's awake, the cat or the kid or the milk truck or whatever it is back alive again, right? So, and I'll tell you, man.
Sometimes dead is better.
Good. What was he thinking? First of all, okay, let me just back this thing up again, okay?
Oh, God.
This guy is supposed to have this 8-year education, right? I mean, he's a freaking doctor.
Okay, the doctor.
Okay, he's a freaking doctor. Now, what do they teach you? Like in kindergarten, right? If you're gonna do the same thing over and over and over and over again, don't expect different results, right? Now, the fool gets his cat flattened like a thin crust pizza, right? The cat is laid out on the road, okay?
It's stuck on the front.
Yeah, but it looks like...
He had to peel it off of the grass.
Yeah, it looks like a shag rug gone awry, right?
Yep.
He takes the cat, and he does the deed with Ric Flair, right? He goes up to the hill with
what a visual.
He goes up the hill.
Ric Flair's going to call you up.
He goes up the hill with, what's his face? The Munsters.
Herman Munster.
Yeah, he goes up the hill with the Munsters, right? They bury the cat, and the cat comes back.
Pissed off.
No, not just pissed off. Evil as evil can be, okay?
Well, cats are pretty evil to begin with.
Not my cats. But anyway, so then what does he do? This doctor who has learned has all this education, right? Says, you know what? My son gets hit by the same damn truck on the same damn road, right? I'm going to take this flattened kid, who wasn't flattened, by the way, right? And did you notice how he was carrying up the kid up the hill?
Yeah.
Like a sack of freaking potatoes, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's taking him up the hill. He digs the hole by himself, which looked like it took 3.5 days, right? I mean, the guy was up there a long time. put the body in there.
You bury your own.
Buried it up, right? Took off and went to sleep on his bed and figures, my kid's going to come back. He's going to be shining happy. Hi, Daddy. You know, because the cat thing, that was just, I'll forget about the cat thing. Right? I mean, what are we doing here, Mike?
Not only that, the cat had all of his organs. This kid, I'm sorry, but when you go into a funeral home, don't they like remove all your organs and fill you with fluid?
I don't think it got that far. Did he still? Yeah, he did. He dug up the body, didn't he?
Yeah,
he dug up the body.
The body was in the ground.
Did.
Remember at the funeral when father-in-law got off on him, started wailing on him?
He sure did.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
If
So
my
yeah,
father-in-law ever did that to me in that situation, he wouldn't be alive, man.
So the kid comes back, and what is he? More evil than the cat, right? Like Chucky on crack. Here he is.
Chucky on crack.
Right? Here he is.
And he got super strength, too, because he could
Yeah.
lift that body up to the attic to push it over and tie knots.
Did you hear the cackle this kid had? I mean, that was eerie. That was good stuff.
Hey, we're playing over here.
Oh,
now.
I liked that. Yeah, that was killer. But, overall, if I had to
I'm
give...
just impressed he could dial that phone, man.
Yeah. If
2 years old and he can
If
dial
I
a phone.
have to give this a star rating, it's probably going to be better than what you're going to give it, right? But I really enjoyed it, and I was sitting there.
Despite all these flaws.
Despite the flaws, it's entertaining, man. Yeah. I mean, it is absolutely entertaining, and it's one of the better Stephen King movies that I can remember.
Yeah, it is. That's
And that's
the sad
what's bad.
part.
Yeah. That is what is sad. Mike, I liked this enough. To give it 4 stars.
Okay.
I did.
Wow.
I really did.
Despite the 14 minutes worth of problems with this film we had.
I got more laughs out of this than I have some recent comedies, okay? I was entertained, and I'll tell you what, it was eerie enough, and the doctor was stupid enough to keep me entertained, and the wife was just on that side where you wanted her to get hit by the milk truck. I'm telling you, I was frustrated and kind of scared and laughing all at the same time. It was a wonderful experience, and I'm telling you, 4 stars because I think any horror you gave Reanimator 5 stars.
Exactly,
I don't want
and
to hear
that was
it.
much more entertaining.
I don't even want to
That
hear
had
it.
more laughs in it.
You had an evil cat in that thing too. What is it with evil cats?
That was exactly.
I mean, it's unbelievable already, right?
Now you can see why I don't hang out with cats.
So now I'm going to jump off the deep end like you did, right, with Reanimator, and I'm not even going all the way.
Oh, man.
I'm not even going all the way,
Well, yeah.
right? But I'm going with the 4 because I think anybody who sits down to watch this is going to laugh. They're gonna take their hand and they're gonna slap themselves in the head, not because
why did I watch this movie?
No, I was gonna say not because they watched the movie, but because of that stupid doctor. And I'll tell you what, it was entertaining enough to keep me sitting there and laughing and howling and having a good time.
What was the thing with Paxcow, the dead kid in the jogging shorts, always trying to help him, and it's like, well, I'm helping you because you tried to help me. It's like,
Right.
dude, he was the doctor at the school. He has to help everybody.
Right.
If you needed a pregnancy test, he'd have helped you.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the thing has holes, but I'm telling you what.
Exactly. This thing's got really big.
But I'm telling you
this
what.
thing's got more holes than a pair of my 501s.
I'm looking,
man.
and that's a lot of friggin', especially on the backside. There's a lot of holes. But let me tell you, I'm telling you the honest truth, folks. Check this out. You will not be disappointed. You will laugh. If you're a horror fan, because to be a fan of this genre, you got to love a little bit of comedy, right? So
unless it's in Reanimator.
Yeah, unless it's in Reanimator or Evil Dead. Either one of those.
Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, please shoot me now.
You don't like comedy in your horror
No, but
film.
this did it right. This wasn't blatant.
This
wasn't blatant comedy.
This had holes in it bigger than the semis could drive
This was
through.
not blatant comedy, Mike. This was the director or
This
whoever.
was trying to be serious.
Yeah.
It was unintentional comedy.
Right, and that's what I like is when you're sitting there going, how could they let this out? How could they do
That's
this?
the fault of the filmmaker.
I'm giving it 4 stars, Mike. You can't talk me out of it because I was entertained from minute 1 to the last minute of the movie. And when it ended, I actually thought, hey, man, we could go another 20 minutes with this. I was having a good time.
They had to show this. They had the Ramones playing.
I was having and that ruined it for me. I was having a good time, man, until that point. So 4 stars from Rowdy.
Wow. All right. Well, hey, this film had Fred Gwynn in it, who was just an awesome neighbor character.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that.
I give it points for Fred Gwynn because just hearing him talk and tell those tales.
Yeah.
I mean, just I was just going, oh yeah, that's what horror films are.
What
you know?
a classic voice that guy
classy
has.
actor,
Yeah.
classic voice. His face had so much character and lines in it and everything.
Did he play the emotional card right? That guy.
Oh yeah, when he was like, "I believe I did it."
It was when he
Fred Gwynne
when he was
was
taking the
awesome.
blame for it. Oh my goodness, you felt for the guy, man. You really did. I mean, and that's the mark of a good actor in a movie like this, who can pull emotion, you know, and make you feel that. How many times have I said it, Mike? How many times have I said it? I'm gonna say it till I die. If you do not care about the characters in these horror movies, you do not have a horror movie. You don't have a good horror movie. You know, and that's
You're telling me you care about all the camp counselors in Friday the 13th?
No, but you don't care so much about the counselors. What you care about in Friday the 13th is you care about the carnage that Jason is doing. You care
care to
about
make sure
his.
they're quality.
But that's what that movie is. That movie is just a kill fest, right? But I
okay.
mean, if you want to really pull emotion out of the audience, you have to get some sympathetic characters, and that's what you have.
Especially in a movie with kids in the movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, when that kid got hit, I mean, two of my kids, I believe, were in the room when that went down, and they both kind of looked at me like, uh-oh.
Yeah, we're getting out of here, Dad.
like, uh-oh, I got to get out of here. Yeah, I mean, and they didn't like the cat either, because they thought my cat was going to, like, come back and look, and that'd be cool if it did just that one time. Just like, roll its eyes in the back of its head and turn, like, his eyes yellow.
I think this film is why I don't like cats.
Probably.
Between that and Reanimator.
Right. Don't mention that movie. Okay, what are you giving it, Mike?
I'm giving it, it's got good mood in it, good suspense, but like I said, these plot holes are just way too large for me to ignore, so 2 stars.
You're not going to go for the 3?
No.
It's not a 3?
Tasha Yar was in it.
All right, 2.
Okay, I'm Michael Mandy. He's Rowdy Jeff. We'll talk to you next week at the Horror Debate.